Things have changed fundamentally at the Cancun summit. The notion of fair trade has become an accepted value. The Africans are euphoric and the pressure is now on the WTO, the United States and Europe.
If the Americans can travel to the moon, they can find solutions that don't hurt African producers. And I think that countries like the United States or Europe, with the power they have, it would not be acceptable for them to use their power to make poor countries even poorer. Their power would be meaningless.
The atmosphere in Cancun was amazing. All of a sudden, everyone was talking about cotton. And I think it was understandable that everyone got caught up in the excitement because cotton wasn't supposed to be a key issue, and it became one of the main topics in Cancun. But I think the Americans made the biggest mistake. They were surprised by cotton because they didn't think it would come up as an issue. They tried to refuse to discuss the subject. And that upset the Africans very much. They thought, oh no, we're not being taken seriously.
After the heat of emotions comes the cold reality of negotiations.
The task of a good chair is essentially to help people come to a position. Sometimes it's necessary to go a little beyond that and use a bit of personal creativity. For example, if we had a negotiation in which the objective was to answer the question 2 + 2 = what? And one side starts off by saying, I believe the answer is 3, and the other side says, no, it's 5. After, a lengthy negotiation, they may finally accept the blindingly obvious, which is that the answer is 2 + 2 = 4, but for political reasons not be able to say it. The chair can say that for them, but only at the point where their expectations have been adjusted to the reality that it's only the blindingly obvious answer that is going to be found.
Memphis, the capital city of cotton in the United States, is keeping a close eye on the negotiations in Cancun, and any concession by the American delegation will not be forgiven.
Well, I think we certainly try to interject and give our opinion or our thoughts on some views that, we feel are important to the industry. We look at particularly some of the things that tried to happen in Cancun, and we're watching that closely and would not want, some of the efforts that are being put forth by some of these other groups to come in and adversely affect the Farm Bill, and so certainly we're looking to protect that and make sure that that Farm Bill is able to move forward and function as it's set to do.
I don't think it's unreasonable for us to say we'll share the market with you, but we're not going to just leave the market, which is what some of the reduction in subsidies would imply.
Cotton may have little economic importance in the United States, but it's a major political heavyweight.
The National Cotton Council is the umbrella organization for the cotton industry in the United States, and it's the best organized farm lobby in the country. There is no other ag lobby as powerful as cotton in the United States.
$1 of government payments going into the rural economy, by the time you have that multiplier effect through the rural economy, it has been a boost to all the rural America economy. It has been a boost. It has been a boost to all the rural America.
In reality, the cotton-producing regions of the United States are economically devastated, and the first thing you see is that the billions of dollars of subsidies paid every year haven't changed a thing. In the Mississippi Delta, the cradle of the American cotton industry, is a village whose name is a reminder of the origins of slaves, Dahomey. That's also the former name of Benin in West Africa. The inhabitants of this village have always worked for the white landowners in the cotton fields.
Yes, cotton and slavery were linked. Cotton was a labor-intensive crop. It took a lot of people to plant it. It had to be cultivated. Well, it was the money crop, and the value of it was so great on the foreign market that there were years before the Civil War that half of the exports of the United States, half of the value of the export of the United States was in cotton, and it was a wonderfully rich source for the South.
The slaves contributed to the wealth of the South of the USA. Today, their descendants are free but have no work.
What's the proper way to say this? It's just tough, you know, that's all I can say. You know, it's difficult.
It's not really easy here to find a job. Well, I really don't see no future here. I'm really thinking about leaving here. But as of now, I have to maintain, I have 2 kids, so I have to deal with the situation.
Looks like to me it's worse. It may be better for the farmer, you know, farming, but it ain't good for us, cause so many of us just be out of weight. You can wait now. Otherwise, they can take 3 or 4 men out and do what 10 used to, maybe 15 men used to do. People want to work, but they just ain't got no work to do. And that's really, I believe that's really there's so much violence, because the people are sitting down, they ain't got nothing to do.
Well, it's been really bad the last 4 or 5 years. There have been a lot of people go out of business. The prices have just been below the cost of production, and it's just been hard for farmers to make it. Well, you have to become larger is one way and more efficient. And hopefully you can overcome the discrepancies by becoming more efficient and farming more acres with less equipment and less people.
Agriculture has changed. All the small cotton fields have disappeared. Rick Parsons, with his 7,000 acres, has a medium-sized farm. To reduce his costs, he works his land with only 9 people. So who and what benefits from the subsidies?
Farmers don't like subsidies because you deal with the government and there are restrictions that you have to deal with. And so farmers, I don't think there's a farmer in this country that wouldn't rather be able to get his money out of the market. When you look at this equipment costs so much money that you've got to have at least 1,500 acres of cotton to justify paying for a picker like that. We cannot compete with prices as they have been in the past without the government subsidies. It's just not economically feasible.
Donc, si vous avez besoin de soutien,
if you need help from the government to make your economy competitive, then that means it isn't competitive.
n'est pas compétitif.
This machine costs $300,000. Clearly, subsidies help pay for machines, and machines replace the workforce, which has become too expensive.